I just watched this video by a popular YouTuber named Waxim. I'll leave a link down below to his channel, and the video that I am going to be responding to is his video from Halloween of 2020, and Kerrang magazine released a list of the 13 greatest black metal albums of the 21st century. And he was going through the list. He went through the full one, and he was talking about how there were a lot of stinkers in there. I can't imagine personally why some of those albums were in there. And he, okay, now first of all, I just want to get this out of the way. You know, nowadays when it comes to music, everybody thinks that they're a critic. All right. And this is going to be very much similar to that. I have made my own list of what I think are the 13 greatest black metal albums of the 21st century. So that's 2000 on. And now, there have been a lot of great ones in the past few years, even, like Stormkeep, Tales of Other Time. That's a kick-ass album. There's a bunch of bands that I have discovered off of Bandcamp that have been releasing some really kick-ass material in 2020, 2021, even this year, 2022. So I'm not discounting that there are some good acts out there now. But what I'm saying is, and also Waxim was saying that he thinks that Kerrang put a lot of those black metal albums on the list simply because of sales and popularity, not necessarily the quality of the songwriting. So it was quite, like I said, I'll link below his, check out my ring. I'll link below his video, thoughts on Kerrang, the 13 greatest black metal albums of the 21st century. Because I found it very entertaining, his reaction to it. Now, like I said, everybody is a critic nowadays when it comes to music, what they think is good and everything. And this is really going to be, you know, if you've seen my channel, I am trying, I did some gameplay, and I do some vlogging, and I post original music videos that I make from time to time. And then I also do music collection updates and reviews and things like that. Mostly metal, but there's going to be other genres that dip into it to give you a little sense of my personality and my personal taste. So I have made my own list of the 13 greatest black metal albums of the 21st century. In response to this, I don't know if Waxim is ever going to see this. I hope he does. hey man, I like your channel, but at number 13, we have Inquisition with Ominous Doctrines of the Perpetual Mystical Macrocosm. Now, what I find absolutely amazing about Inquisition is that there are two guys in the band. I mean, at least for this album that was released in 2010, there were two people, a guitarist and a vocalist and a drummer. That's it. When you think about bands that are super, super powerful and hugely popular, like Nirvana or Green Day, those had 3 members. Inquisition has 2, and that's the way they perform on stage. Is I've seen them live on YouTube, of course, and it's just the guitarist who also does vocals, and then a kick-ass drummer. And this album is very, very powerful. The drumming is just mind-blowing. I think that this guy, I don't know his name, but he is a kick-ass drummer. And all of the guitar tone, the riffs. Usually I hate people who talk about riffs. Oh man, the riffs. Fucking shut up about the riffs. But it's true. The riffs on this album, for just one guy creating this type of thing, there's no bass player or anything. It's just a guitarist. He provides such depth. And now, one thing you have to worry about with Inquisition is the frog vocals. Okay, Kermit the Frog. If you listen to Inquisition, you'll know what I'm talking about. It's Kermit the Frog. Very croaky, like frog vocals. But for somehow they work, because he writes all the stuff and they work. They work really well for Inquisition. All right. Number 12, we have Weakling with Dead as Dreams from the year 2000. Weakling is kind of an oddity with black metal because they're not well known. They're very, very noisy, and they only released one album, which is a crying shame before they broke up. But it is United States black metal, hugely influential, because it was pretty early on, 2000, and just howling, screeching vocals. All of their songs are super long. There's one that's like 20 minutes. So, Weakling, definitely, I feel Dead as Dreams deserves a spot on this list. Number 11, we have Nocturnal Mortem with The Voice of Steel from 2009. Okay, this record has one of the best openings I think I've ever heard in my life. I mean, the intro track and the first proper song, which is very long, it's like 9-something minutes, are so bombastic. Just on that first song, I think it may be the title track, The Voice of Steel. It's so unbelievably well written. And they incorporate a lot of... they're from the Ukraine. And they incorporate a lot of, like, Celtic elements to it. With, like, bagpipes and various things. Other... instruments that you don't normally hear in black metal, and it's extremely interesting, very riveting, and it just gets you, I mean, it just gets you like you want to go to war or something. You're just like, I mean, I cannot listen to The Voice of Steel and not get pumped up and bang my head and throw up the horns. I mean, it just makes you do that. You have to. Okay. Number 10. I'm going to have to start writing this down. Is Xasthur with Subliminal Genocide from 2006. Xasthur is he's still going, but he changed his style. In the early 2000s, he was a one-man United States black metal project, and very much on the depressive side, pretty raw too, very raw, painstakingly performed, and he has a very distinct guitar playing style that sounds like picking on a acoustic guitar with a lot of harmonic changes, and it's very haunting is what it sounds like to me. It's like, because I know when he was recording Telepathic with the Deceased, and also this one, he didn't have a job, and he was isolating himself from everyone, and he couldn't tell if it was night or day. He wouldn't leave the house, and he's just, there's something going on there that I can't really quite figure out. I know I've somewhat been there myself, but his older music that he created, especially on Subliminal Genocide, is very, very powerful. Number 9, and before I'm going to take a smoke break, we have Carpathian Forest, Defending the Throne of Evil from 2003. And not a lot of people talk about Carpathian Forest. And I'm kind of surprised about that because they have some decent black metal albums. As far as, I mean, I would consider them true Norwegian black metal in that category of true cult Norwegian black metal. Carpathian Forest is definitely not anymore. They haven't done anything in a long, long time. But Defending the Throne of Evil, again, has a great opener. The production on it is very, very exactly what you would want in a modern black metal release. The drumming is not phenomenal, but it's very, very steady. It's pretty hardcore. He knows how to blast. He knows how to double bass roll. The songwriting is great, especially on the opening track, It's Darker Than You Think. Woo, Carpathian Forest. I mean, it's kind of death and roll a little bit, if you can understand what I mean by that. But I think it needs a little bit more attention than it gets. Carpathian Forest. And even some of their other stuff. Strange Old Brew, Morbid Fascination of Death. Pretty good shit. Okay, number 8. We have Leviathan with the 10th sublevel of Suicide. And Leviathan is another US one-man black metal project. And this album, the 10th sublevel of Suicide, was released in 2003. And I think that anyone, even fans of Leviathan, would tell you that this is Rest's greatest work. The vocals are just torment to listen to. I'm pretty sure he played an electronic drum set on this record, which I used to have an electronic drum set until my friends fucking destroyed it. But I mean, I still have it, but it's like in very broken disarray. But some of the songwriting on the 10th sub-level of Suicide is just tremendous. It really draws you in. It's a long album. I think it's like 71 minutes or something like that. You gotta hear that. It's Leviathan, even though it's from the U.S., is essential black metal listening. I believe this is number 7. We have Dark Funeral with Diabolus Interium. And this is back when they had their old vocalist, before he decided that he just couldn't fucking do it anymore. He was passing out on stage and just had done it for like 18 years and just couldn't couldn't hang, you know? And I don't blame him for that shit, because the performance and the musicianship, some of the songs are like An Apprentice of Satan is a kick-ass song. There's also the title track, Diabolus Interium, and there is Goddess of Sodomy. I really like that one. So, I don't know why Kerrang did not include Dark Funeral on the list because they've been releasing in the 21st century. I mean, in the 20th century, they released several great albums like Secret of the Black Arts, but in the 21st century, they were still going strong, you know? And also, they did extensive touring down in South America, like Brazil and Chile and places, Argentina. And those shows are badass. So, Dark Funeral, man. Okay, number 6. We have Shining with Homestead from 2007. I don't know why Shining was not on the Kerrang list, because what they put on the list was Forgotten Tomb. What? Tokyo, what? Yeah. Forgotten Tomb. That is such an odd choice. I don't know why they would consider that to be great in any sense, by any standards at all. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I have all of Forgotten Tomb's discography, but I don't listen to it. Okay, so Shining. I just recently got the Digipack physical CD of this from Osmos Productions, I think it was. And it's a French pressing. And I'm very happy with it. I love Shining is a good band. As far as you know, there's different styles, and this is going to represent different styles of black metal across the gamut here. Shining, it leans very much on the depressive, suicidal side. The frontman Nicholas would probably prefer you to kill yourself, which I don't think is all that wonderful. But nonetheless, he is a tremendous vocalist. The whole band is good. The drummer is good. The guitarists are good. The bass player is great. The bass really stands out with Shining. And they had somebody play the piano. They did a rendition of Moonlight Sonata on this album. And the middle and the end of this track just grabs you by the balls. I mean, I love it. I had it in my car recently. Okay. Number 5. Now, this is one. Let me tell you about this one. We have Mayhem. And yeah, I know. Okay. I know what you're thinking. Oh, well, Mayhem? The only good thing that Mayhem did was the mysterious Dom Sathanos. That's it. Because they did an album in 2004 that nobody talks about. I don't know why no one ever talks about Chimera. This is Maniac on vocals, Blasphemer on guitar, Necrobutcher, and Hellhammer. That is a really good lineup. The quality of metal that you get here, black or otherwise, is just outstanding. People talk about Wolf's Lair Abyss EP, and that's really good too. And then they're still going now. They have Attila on vocals, where they've had him for years and years now. But I always go back to Chimera because Hellhammer's drums are really something to behold. He is an extremely good performer. The song structuring is very punishing. It's all very tight. And just Chimera, it's just a good album. Okay? At number 4, oh boy, this is going to get controversial. This is going to get controversial. But I put them on there because I go back to this time and time again. This is Gorgoroth with Twilight of the Idols in Conspiracy with Satan from 2003. And yes, I know Gaul is gay. And yes, I know that King of Hell wrote the majority of these songs, not in Furnace. So you would think that because of that, it's not true Gorgoroth material. And then King and Gaul went on to say that tried to steal Gorgoroth away and use the name to perform, and they got in the whole legal battle and everything. But nonetheless, the music on Twilight of the Idols, it's very short album. This is only, I think it's like 32 minutes or something like that. 33 maybe. But it's kick-ass from beginning to end. They did the show in Krakow, Poland, that the police actually confiscated the video for that because it violated animal cruelty and religious laws that they had in the country, and because it was just very theatrical, and they had like sheep heads and like people covered in real blood, crucified naked models on the stage and stuff. So I mean, Gorgoroth is they at least they claim to be satanic. Some of the members have served prison time for violent, negligent rape, torturous acts towards people. They're not all that great dudes, but it's very, very... Twilight of the Idols, to me, is very moving. You can tell that they're in it all the way. They were behind their music. They want to get the message across to you about what they're talking about, and it's just very well done. Okay, we're at number 3 now. On the Kerrang list, they had Cradle of Filth Midian on the list, and I'm not even gonna front. Midian was the very first Cradle of Filth album that I was ever aware of. In 2005, I met a guy, and he told me about Cradle of Filth, and he said that they'd been around for a long time, and that I should check them out. And I had never heard that kind of technical, symphonic, extreme metal before. So Cradle of Filth was really my introduction to black metal, so to speak. And the one that, instead of Midian, the one that I included on my list is Damnation and a Day from 2003. I don't know how they did this, but they secured, for this particular album, Damnation and a Day, they secured a deal with Sony, and they had the biggest budget that they had to date. And instead of creating the symphonic elements with a keyboard like so many other bands do, they actually had the money. They hired a real orchestra from Budapest, Hungary, I think it was. And this album shines because it's so epic. It's so big. The sound is, the orchestrations and the choir are so unbelievably powerful. And this has a lot of songs. I think this is like 70-minute long album. It's got a lot of songs. It's like 17, 18 songs on here. And it's quite a chunk of extreme blackened metal. I know what you're going to think. Cradle of Filth, Dusk in Her Embrace and Cruelty and the Beast. And yeah, those are great too, but those are not 21st century. Those are 20th century. So Cradle of Filth has released quite a bit of albums in the 21st century. They're still going strong, amazingly. And it's amazing that they haven't crumbled under their own bullshit, you know. But they've been, been able to keep it together, and Danny Filth is still doing it. I give him mad props for that. All right, number 2. This is a band that I am really shocked was not on the Kerrang list. Behemoth from Poland. And this is The Satanist from 2014. This is a very, very good, I mean, exceptional concept album that, I mean, I actually saw Behemoth. I've seen them twice now in live in concert, and Nurgle asked me. He asked me, "What's your favorite track from the album?" This was in 2015 when they were touring for The Satanist, and I told him, it's a tie between the first and the first and the last track. So, Blow Your Trumpets, Gabriel, and O Father, O Satan, O Son. Man, and also I have a funny story about this. I don't have any dealings with marijuana anymore, but back when I did, I had a friend who gave me some, he made some brownies. He made a batch of magic brownies, and me and my girlfriend at the time ate those and had a lot of fun with it. But there was so much weed butter left over that he actually made some of it into icing, weed icing. And I woke up and I had to go to work that day, and we had this weed icing, and I had just bought The Satanist. This was in 2014, and I put the weed icing on a Pop-Tart and ate that. And it didn't do anything for about an hour. But then I went to work, and I remember I was driving on the toll road going about 80 miles an hour, and this weed icing kicked in. And I was listening to The Satanist in my car CD player. And I'll never forget that, man. I was like, whoa. This weed icing is kicking my ass right now. And then I was listening to Behemoth in the car by myself at like 9:30 in the morning, tripping on weed icing. And I was like, dude, this is good shit. I'll never forget that. Okay. And so for the Kerrang list, Waxham was shocked about Watain being listed as the number 1 slot. And I can definitely agree with everything he said on that. The decision that was made was just kind of just like, come on. You know, I like Watain. I'm not pooping on them. I'm not pooping on Watain. Okay? But really, there's so much better stuff that what you don't have to sit on Watain or listen to them all the time. For my number one slot is going to go to Wolves in the Throne Room, Two Hunters from 2007. Now, this album I have on vinyl, the special double edition, the double vinyl special edition with a bonus track and an extended version of Cleansing. Man, Wolves in the Throne Room is a band that I just love. They're very, just, how do I explain it? I haven't been able to explain it before very well. It's Wolves in the Throne Room. Anything I say is not going to do them justice. It's not melodic. It's not atmospheric. That doesn't properly describe it. It's just what they're able to pull off is just very emotional. Like, in the way that Deftones can be sometimes, is what I think. They don't use at least back in those days, they didn't use a lot of high production value. It was just like pretty stripped down and bare bones sound, but the songwriting shone through so well. They tend to perform longer tracks, longer songs, compositions. Some of them have different movements, almost like a classical piece, almost. And they're from the U.S., which I'm proud of that. So, Wolves in the Throne Room, Two Hunters, I'm going to say is the number one choice on my list. Now, there are lots of others, but that is my personal list. Okay. And feel free to disagree with me, but all 13 of these albums, I swear to the God that I don't believe in, they're all incredible. You can listen to any of the albums that I just went through, and you're going to think that it's fucking badass. So, anyways, that is my list for the top 13 black metal albums of the 21st century so far. And Kerrang, you need to get your head out of your ass. No, I'm kidding. Everybody at Kerrang, I love you. But there you go. This is Nethracedicon out.